have a really weird relationship with Hunchback of Notre Dame. By which I mean, I know I had the VHS as a child. I have no recollection of having actually watched it. I've watched it once previously, as an adult, that I do remember, and then I decided to watch it again. And with this viewing, whatever number of viewing this is, I definitely think I got the most out of it, and definitely read the most into it and analysed it the most while watching it. And I have to say, it's an incredible narrative. There was only one song in this that I kind of liked. They stuck with me. I will mention that in a few minutes. But that song I thought was incredible. But as a narrative, I think it's one of the most powerful. Certainly in terms of the message it gives. And I got Elephant Man vibes all the way through it. Obviously, this is based on the story by Victor Hugo. I haven't read The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I kind of want to. In fact, I do want to. If you've read it, and you can let me know how it compares without spoiling the book, please feel free to do so. I do definitely want to read the book at some time. But The Hunchback of Notre Dame, in case you're not aware, although I also do have one question that I'd like somebody to answer if you can answer it. And this is about to be a tiny spoiler for what happens at the very beginning of the film. But at the very beginning, it's the 1400s. We are in France, and these gypsy characters are fleeing from Judge Frollo. And one of these women becomes quite brutally injured, to say the very least. Kind of a horrific way to start a Disney film. And Frollo thinks that the bundle she is carrying is stolen products, but it actually appears to be a baby. A baby which is, to want for a better term, physically deformed. And I still don't understand the treatment of that baby. I understand why it was then passed on to the cathedral, but I feel like Frollo being Frollo, and what we learn about how just pure evil he is, I feel like he would have put up more of a fuss. I don't know, is the ground directly outside of Notre Dame consecrated? Or is it just inside the walls? If anybody knows the answer to that, please feel free to tell me, but I'm going off on a tangent. Long story short, this deformed baby becomes property of the cathedral. This is Quasimodo. He lives his life inside the cathedral, in the attic. Flash forward however many decades, Quasimodo is now an adult. And he does have a deformed appearance, if you like. I'm not actually sure if they ever mention what caused the physical deformities. I guess not, it's a Disney film. But he looks different. And the film, of course, is all about the treatment of somebody who looks different to us. And, calling somebody a monster or a horrible creature just because they look physically different. And that's the whole message of this, basically. And I think that that's an absolutely beautiful message, because it's something that a lot of children need to learn very quickly. And adults, many adults. In fact, maybe adults more than children. I don't know, what do you think? Do children judge others who look different, or do we as adults do it more? I think maybe adults judge others more differently. And of course, Quasimodo meets Esmeralda, who is also seeking refuge inside the cathedral. Will Frollo get to them? It is the Festival of Fools, so there's quite a lot going outside. It's very busy. There are a lot of people in this. There are a lot of characters, a lot of named characters as well. I think it's one of the most character heavy. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but if I could get up a list of named characters, it wouldn't surprise me if it was one of the largest. But it's still quite easy to follow. I felt very emotionally attached to Quasimodo's story. He just wants to be free from the cathedral. He just wants to be part of general society. But not only is he not really allowed to leave the cathedral because of Frollo, he also is going to be ridiculed. Esmeralda, being a gypsy, being an outcast, has similar feelings. And it's all about these individual people coming together to unite against this horrible man and this horrible, bitter society. There are so many beautiful messages in this. The animation is gorgeous. The colour choices are beautiful. Esmeralda's outfit, absolutely love it. One of my favourite Disney outfits for a human character. The animation of Notre Dame, I think, is absolutely beautiful. In fact, the animation throughout this is gorgeous. It's visually an absolute delight. Tom Holtze, I apologize if I mispronounced that, is a fantastic voice of Quasimodo, and Demi Moore as Esmeralda. Sensational. Tony J voices Frollo, and the character himself, he's never going to be one of my favourite Disney villains, absolutely not at all. But there is one song in this that I absolutely love, and I'll be honest, I couldn't remember this song. I don't believe that I had heard it before, but Hellfire is an absolutely addictive, beautiful song. It is so powerful, and I could listen to it again and again. I thought it was brilliant, and apart from Be Prepared, the Scar song from Lion King, I don't think a Disney villain has a song that's moved me quite as much. Although My Lullaby, which Zira sings in Simba's Pride, that's a pretty brilliant song as well. So maybe some Disney villains do have great songs. If you have a favourite Disney villain song, let me know. But this one's definitely high up there. Needless to say, it's a beautiful film. It's very successful, very popular. I'm looking forward to watching the sequel. But for now, I'm still riding high on how much I enjoyed this. I don't know why, when I watched it a few years ago for the first time as an adult, I don't know why it didn't leave quite an impression on me. But watching it this time, analysing it more heavily, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And although it'll never be my favourite Disney film, definitely one I will happily watch again.